Has your home been consumed by eldritch abominations of darkness? Well, lucky for you, I know just the place for you to go, Traverse Town, a place trapped in perpetual nighttime for refugees from all over the universe. I vacationed there for a short while, and today I wanted to share my experience there and tell you whether or not I think it's a good place to go for a short trip or potentially a new place to call home. There are 6 main things that I look for when judging a place: food, lodging, transportation, entertainment, people, and safety. We're gonna start with food. In terms of eating options, probably the first place you'll go for a meal is the restaurant in the 1st District of Traverse Town, which is just called Cafe Bar. The restaurant looks nice. It's got moderately fancy looking chairs and candles on the tables for some mood lighting. Considering it's called Cafe Bar, I can only assume it's like a blend of Panera Bread and a hole-in-the-wall pub. I'm guessing there's an inside portion of the restaurant, but there's a door with a closed sign on it, so I guess the restaurant is closed or it's just completely out of business, because I stayed in Traverse Town for a little while and it's never been open. I tried asking this lady standing next to the restaurant if she knew if the restaurant was open or not, but all she did was tell me her sob story about how her homeworld was destroyed. In terms of other food options, there's an item shop run by the triplets, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, that seems to have a couple of different kinds of fruit available. There's this one random door in the 1st District that has a menu next to it for some reason. Maybe the inside is a restaurant. It's hard to read the menu since it's so blurry looking, but it looks like they have bottled drinks, dessert waffles, I've never heard of anyone refer to waffles like that, but okay, snacks, which is the most broad word to describe any food item on a menu other than just food. They've also got ice cream, hot dogs, baked potatoes, and pizza. So, hey, there is a pretty good selection of stuff here. The only problem is, oh my gosh, these prices are ridiculous! $85 for a hot dog. Now, Kingdom Hearts does use its own currency called money. It's spelled M-U-N-N-Y, but I'm not sure if this sign is referring to money since periods aren't used when writing out money like you would with, say, USD currency. There aren't any money cents or anything like that as far as I'm aware. I hope it's not saying that hot dogs cost 8,500 money, but if it is only 85 money, that's honestly an understandable price. A healing potion costs 60 money at the item shop. It's hard to tell how much liquid is in a healing potion, but I'd imagine it's about the size of a medium drink at a fast food restaurant. So if potions cost 60 money, a hot dog being valued at 85 money makes sense. Although, I guess I would have to see how big the hot dog is first. Thankfully, there actually is an advertisement in a back alleyway that seems like it may be for the restaurant that sells the hot dogs, and it gives us a picture of how it looks. Personally, I'd throw some ketchup on it, but it looks like a decent hot dog. Speaking of dogs, if you're looking to get lit, there's a house filled with dogs called the Dalmatians House that has a rack filled with wine. I don't think dogs drink alcohol, so I'm sure they'd be willing to part ways with a bottle or two. If I had to rate the food in Traverse Town, I think I'd give it a 4 out of 5 stars. There are definitely a few places to get your grub on. Next up, let's talk about lodging. This is often an area where a lot of places struggle, and Traverse Town is no different. There's this vacant house that no one's using, but it could definitely use a few touch-ups. No one's been living here for a while, and you can tell. Some of the wallpaper has come off, some of the ceiling beams are broken, there's just this sheet hanging down, there's just random boxes in the corner, there's not even a bed here. It's not exactly homey, but I guess it'll at least give you a place to stay. Eventually, a group of people ended up staying in the house, and they did add a bed to the place. Do all 3 of them just sleep in the same bed? As for other sleeping options, there is a bed in the house of this wizard guy named Merlin, but I'm pretty sure he's using that one. Of course, there are the tried and true park benches that you can find in the 2nd District. There's also the Dalmatians house, which is filled with a bunch of dogs. If you don't like pets, you may not like it here, and the house doesn't have a bed either, but overall, it's well furnished. The couches and chairs look comfy enough. Finally, there is also a hotel where you can stay that has a couple of rooms. One has an East Asian theme, and the other is a more standard room. The other 2 rooms you can't go inside though, guess they're occupied. The biggest issue with the hotel is that it's infested with monsters. The hallways inside the rooms, even the entrance to the hotel is crawling with Heartless. I was gonna deduct points from the lodging rating because of the monsters, but I recently introduced the new safety category to handle things like danger and cleanliness, so it seems like I should instead deduct points there. However, it doesn't seem right not to factor in the monsters in the hotel since they do affect the quality of life there. The simplest way for me to handle this is to deduct points from both categories just to be fair, but we'll get to safety later. For now, I'm going to give the lodging situation in Traverse Town a 2 out of 5 stars. Moving on, our next topic is transportation. Unfortunately, Traverse Town doesn't really have transportation. For the most part, the only way you're getting around town is with your own 2 legs. Unless you're like me, since I can fly. The town itself isn't particularly large though, and there are multiple ways to get to the various areas in town. For example, you can get to both the 2nd and 3rd districts from doors in the 1st district. You can get to the hotel from the entrance in the 2nd district, or by jumping on the balconies accessible from the alleyway. You can get to the mystical house from a door in the 3rd district, or by taking a secret entrance from the underground cave. So I'll give transportation a 3 out of 5 stars. Next is entertainment, always a fun category. Traverse Town isn't exactly a bustling city, but there are some places to check out, specifically several stores to spend your money. There's a store that sells handbags, there's another one that sells boots and shoes, and another store that sells suits, dresses, hats, and ties. I really like the moving sign that they have on the store building. If you're more into jewelry, there is the accessory shop where you can buy expensive items for yourself or maybe someone special. Another store is the Gizmo shop, which I'm not really sure what they sell. I guess maybe like tech stuff or little gizmos, but the shop at least looks fun. If you have rare items, you can synthesize them into new stuff in the upper section of the accessory shop, but that seems like super technical stuff for nerds. There is a cave that you can reach from the alleyway, which is kinda pretty. Inside of Merlin's house, you can destroy his furniture for fun. He doesn't really seem to mind. His house also has this book, and you can actually go inside of the book to a world where you can hang out with a bunch of talking animals. Technically, this is a different place than Traverse Town itself, but since the book itself is inside Traverse Town, I think it's fair to count it. In the Dalmatians house, they've got some musical instruments, so if you're musically talented, you can play a tune or two. There's also some books and a TV in the house, so you've got some options for passing the time. I'll give Traverse Town's entertainment a 4 out of 5 stars. Next up, there's the people of Traverse Town. Traverse Town does have maybe a dozen or so people to talk to, but honestly, none of them are all that captivating. They don't have particularly fun or enticing stories. There's no juicy drama. Their lives are just kind of boring, outside of losing their worlds to the forces of evil. The animals in the book world are pretty cool though. They're chill, but they get into hijinks from time to time. Especially that honey addict Pooh Bear. All in all, I think I'll give the people of Traverse Town a 2 out of 5 stars. Finally, we have the safety of Traverse Town. I mentioned earlier that Traverse Town has quite a number of monsters. In fact, a lot of the areas in Traverse Town are filled with Heartless that are trying to kill you. That means unless you know how to scrap or you got that strap, you aren't gonna have a great time in Traverse Town. Even if you can protect yourself, having to deal with all of the enemies can get kinda annoying, especially when you're just trying to lay down in your hotel room after a long day. As for other safety concerns, there are exposed wires in the 3rd district, so watch out for that. Traverse Town is pretty clean. There isn't a ton of trash scattered around or anything like that, so you don't really have to worry about getting sick. That's at least one good thing I can say about the safety of Traverse Town, but unfortunately that isn't enough to prevent Traverse Town from getting a 1 out of 5 stars for safety. With that, we are done with the rankings, so let's go over all of them. 4 out of 5 stars for food, 2 out of 5 stars for lodging, 3 out of 5 stars for transportation, 4 out of 5 stars for entertainment, 2 out of 5 stars for people, and 1 out of 5 stars for safety. That gives Traverse Town a pretty unimpressive rating of 2.67 out of 5 stars. If Traverse Town wasn't filled with monsters, it'd at least be a decent place to maybe spend a few days, but even then, the lack of lodging and pretty uninteresting population prevents it from being a place I can imagine anyone would ever want to settle down in. At the very least, I think Traverse Town has some really nice atmosphere. It's a pretty beautiful town. Let me know your thoughts on Traverse Town in the comments, and also give me some suggestions for other places I should check out on vacation. That's all I have to say for today though, so thanks for watching y'all, and have a great rest of your day.